Don't mind me, just checking my phone, making sure I can view chat somehow. Hello everyone, welcome to my surprise stream. I hope you can hear me just fine. Alright, so we're going to be real classy and use my phone for the chat because I'm going to run this stream solo. Everybody can admire my very old phone. Alright, cool. Putting it in the secret spot. There we go. And then, let me do this here. Hello, hello, if you're just joining us. We will be getting to things in just a second. Put out Oath right here on the table. Hello. All right, let me make sure I have this properly muted. Can you hear me? Check, check. Oh yeah, well, you know, look, I had, I guess I'm using an old one, aren't I? Here, I'll tell you what, maybe I can find, you know what, don't worry about it. I do what I can. I must have grabbed the wrong image. Okay, I'm gonna fix the image. It's so unprofessional. 1 second. Okay. Are you the one? Sorry, this must be very entertaining for everyone. It's a root overlay. Here we go. Aha! That's so much better. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I got a bunch of folks. Okay, let me set this up just a little bit better than I am. Because I can't read anything. I'm like craning my head over here. Okay, give me the largest chat. I want the largest chat computer. Okay, 1 second. Don't mind me. I wish I had music or something. Is this gonna give me chat? Nope. All right, there's probably a better way to do what I'm doing. So we have like kind of a quiet day in the studio today, which is a rare thing. We never have quiet days in the studio. But, you know, we have, Oath is pretty much done. It's at the factory, which is great. Oh, here we go. Yes. Yes, yes. I figured it out. Good, good, good. Okay, so I assume you guys can hear me just fine. Excellent. Gonna move this keyboard out of the limelight. So you guys shouldn't see that anymore. That's good. Sound is good. Excellent. I've got all like a little mic offset. My water, my trusty water cup. Okay. So why am I doing this strange thing? Well, I kind of finished almost all my work about a half an hour before the end of day, and so I thought we have a stream set up. People on the Oath testing Discord had been asking me to show what the game looks like to set up. And, you know, we didn't want to do a big Kickstarter update because we have other updates scheduled, and we also, this isn't quite the final version of the game. So this is like a little surprise stream for just the people who happen to be on Twitter at that time. So yeah, thank you. Intellect Gaming is Marshall, who is our production manager. He is one of the reasons why this game looks as beautiful as it does. So with a little bit of time left in the day, and this copy of Oath like sitting on a table in studio next to a room with a camera above a table, I just thought we should just show you guys what it's like. So a couple of things. Marshall might have already noted this in the chat. This is a pre-production copy. It was not built off the line. It was built in like a workshop. So what a factory will do is they'll like make you a copy by hand using the files that you give them. And this is like a pretty high fidelity version of the game, but some things aren't quite right. And I'll talk about some of that. Also, these aren't made using displacement printing, which means that like the colors are quite bright, but things might look a little off. Yeah, this game is crazy beautiful. It is crazy, crazy beautiful. Okay, so then the other thing is, what was the other thing I was going to say about pre-production copies? So we'll be doing this again with an MPC in like 5 weeks, like the full like real unboxing. We'll shoot it with real photos, with real cameras and everything. So look forward to that. Last thing I'll say is like I'm running the stream by myself, so I just like hooked up a bunch of web cameras, like that one and that one up there. And I apologize if I don't get to a question in the chat. I'm doing what I can. Okay, so here's Oath. For scale, I brought some friends for scale. Here is Root for scale, just so you can get a sense of how big it is. So it's, you know, it's a big brother. It's not like we didn't go Gloomhaven on you. Isaac can still be Isaac. And then if you've been playing our most recent game, Fort, I guess I'll center that so you can see Fort, you know, fits right like that. So Fort, by the way, is 1/2 a Root, just for shelf space. If this kind of like worries you that we have all these different sizes, that's why. Okay, so this is a big game. In terms of thickness, I'll just kind of, I don't want to shake up the thing too much, but there you go for the side. There's some really fun, cool stuff we do with the boxes that I will shout out. This piece of art, by the way, I just want to like underline, it's awesome. So Kyle, when he does our covers, like they aren't composites, they're like, he does them as a single big piece, and the level of detail is crazy. I just noticed some little stuff about like detailing on the well right here that I'd never seen before, even just sitting right here. So one thing that is different about this Oath from the Oath you guys will be getting eventually, y'all will be getting eventually, is that we are kind of like on the fence. We were going to do this white text for the cover, but we actually think we're going to do foil. And so we are waiting to see how the foil turns out, like a light silver foil. So it'll be really, really beautiful. Cool. And then like the back, I don't know what's going to happen. I flip it over. We're going to do it anyway. Here's the back. One thing is like this actually isn't the final back, but it just gives you a general sense of what's going on. These files we updated. So these files are like a month old. So actually there are already some things that we already fixed and updated and improved. But lovely 3D rendering done by Patty, our graphic designer, the lead graphic designer behind Oath. Okay, so here's what I kind of want to do. So my original intent was not to give like a full product tour of the game or anything like that. I just want to set it up so that you guys can see how fast setup is. The big caveat here is that we don't have the insert yet. We'll be getting it in a week or so, hopefully. So setup isn't going to be like perfect, like as easy as it gets, but hopefully you'll get a sense of it. So the first thing I want to show you all is that this box is super full of stuff. It is like a crazy full box. So we have all this stuff here. This is the little journal. I'll kind of show that here. I can show it like this too. The journal is lovely. And it has these in papers, and we'll actually probably have a little feature on the website about how to use the journal because we didn't really have an easy way that we could put directions. But the journal has this in paper spread that you can use to just write like a Hall of Fame, just the names. And I was thinking a lot about like Egyptian and kingly chronicles and stuff like that. So you can just write like the names of the winners. And then the bottom right, the statue of this eye, you can use to mark off cards as they're added. So someone can like peek at this in paper and be like, oh, this set has this distribution of cards roughly. It's supposed to be rough though, because it's not recording what's leaving. So even if this like whole slice of the pie with order was filled in, so like a lot of order had been added to the deck may not actually be all that tilted to order if cards are leaving. So we still want like a little bit of uncertainty. And then we have just empty pages for you to fill with whatever you want. I wish I would have grabbed it. I've got one that I was doing with my siblings. There's some comics in it. We do all kinds of stuff. So we did like place for the name, place for the date. You can circle the condition you play in. The winner, traditionally let the winner write the history. They can write whatever they like. And then at the bottom, you can record which suit was promoted. And then was this an Oathkeeper victory? Was it a succession victory or a vision victory? And then you can indicate what the next victory condition will be. So that when someone, even if you haven't played the game in months, you can open it up and be like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do for the next game. So again, all the Kickstarter backers, you'll get this dope little book. Okay, so then we have these player references. We have 2 of these. These aren't the correct paper stock. We already fixed this. These will be card stock. But this has a little guide to everything that can be on a card and some general rules of use. If you've played Oath on TTS, you're probably pretty familiar with this sheet. And then on the back of it is a summary of campaign and also the summary of all the sites and what the site icons mean. This is one of those documents that like new players will use a lot their first couple games, and then you'll never use it again. One little thing is that, again, my eagle-eyed like testing Discord people who might be here, you'll note this is the old campaign summary. Don't worry, we fixed it. All the files that you're seeing here are things that we've already gone through. So don't like send me a panicked message of like, oh, I don't see the helper text at the bottom of campaign. And then you have Clockwork Prince. The bot rules are on 2 sheets. And we put them separate because often you'll be referring to a rule book and then you'll want to also refer to a bot rule. So all the bot rules fit on 2 sheets, front and back. And then when you pack away the game, you have this sheet, which is the Chronicle. I guess I'll put it this way so you can see. The Chronicle guide like shows you like, hey, you're about to pack away your game. Here are the 8 steps. And it like has little graphic examples. This is another thing that like for first players, very, very helpful, very useful. Once you've done it 2 or 3 times, you don't need to use the sheet anymore. And then on the back is the prince's mind map, which this is what informs how the prince behaves in the game. Thank you, Josh. Yes, again, all this stuff is old. It's just printed on papers, and printed nicely. Then we've got these 2 rule books. We have the law, which is pretty light. You know, it's 12 pages. The root law is 16, so it's a little lighter. And in fact, one of my favorite things, and I've already said this to y'all first, one of my favorite things is that in terms of the complexity of this game, people ask me like, oh, you said it was going to be like 2 roots or something, 2 root factions. It seems like it got complicated. It didn't really in its fundamentals. So like, I'll show you guys on stream. This page right here is the victory and sequence of play. This page and this page are the major actions. And then this page are the minor actions, and this page is the card powers. So it's like 5 pages of core rules. Now, there's a difference between, you know, knowing how to do something and having any idea of like strategy. One place where Oath is a lot deeper than Root is that you will often have no idea what to do. And that's part of the charm of the game, I think. This is a great game for emergent storytelling and trying to puzzle your way through an interesting problem that your friends are making for you. Yes, Josh is right. He notes that the page size is smaller than the law of Root. This page, this rulebook size, you may recognize from Pax Premier. It's the same form factor I use for Pax Premier because I love it. It forces us not to put too many words on one page. Somebody asked about the bot. The bot's in the game. The bot, different from our initial pitch on the Kickstarter, the bot does work as Exile and as Chancellor. So if you play as a solo or as with 2, and you can even use it with more if you'd like, you can have, you can beat the Chancellor bot, and then in the next game play the same Chronicle and fight the Exile bot if you want to keep that rolling. Okay, so then we have the playbook. This book's awesome. Patty, again, did amazing job on the layout. This book is 32 pages long, so it's got a little weight to it, and it's kind of structured in a few different ways. So one thing, I'll just take you through it. You open it up, it's very clear, read me first, right? You open it up, got a beautiful spread for the components, which tells you everything that's in the box. That was the thing, we didn't have a component list in Root, mostly because of inexperience, kind of. Like, I didn't think it was as important as it is, and I was wrong, and now all my games have big component spreads. So we have this great component spread. She tells you everything that's in the box. It's fully complete. And then right at the start of the rules, it says, hey, are you going to teach this game later, or do you want to try playing it right now? It just jumps you like absolutely right in trying to figure out how you want to use this book. And then it tells you what parts to read. So there is a card-driven setup, which I guess I can't really do for you, but I can show you a little bit how it works later. So you have this card-driven setup, which you can either reference this spread, or you can just, when you get the game, your cards are going to be arranged in such a way with guiding cards. Actually, let me see if I can dig some of those up. They're at the very bottom of this box, so I'm not going to dig them out yet. Okay, so then you have this opening spread that basically they'll want you to read if you're trying to play it with, like we actually designed a tutorial that you can play the game having read very little of the rule book. So if you got this game at a convention, you could sit down, read for half an hour, or brush up on some stuff, and then just jump in there, and you'll more or less figure out how to play. So who you are and how you win, our opening spread, and then we go to the broad strokes of play. This just introduces you to all the major concepts. Then after that, we have kind of a traditional Eurogame style rulebook. If you've read the Root Learn to Plays, you know all about these. So we have like these action pages. We go through all the actions with examples, lots of examples for attacking and things. And then we travel, minor actions, and then we have a walkthrough. And so if you use the card-driven setup, all of your decks are set up so that you can play a single turn walkthrough. And in the Root walkthrough, people tell you like, oh, you have to do this, or the people tell you. The booklet tells you, hey, place a wood. It doesn't really fully explain the rule. And so what we opted to do here is we have this purple text throughout that, for example, I'll just read this. This is completely random section. I reveal the Forest Paths card. As a minor action, I flip over the face down card in my advisors and I play it to my site and take 1 favor from the Beast Bank. This costs no supply. And then there's a little block of text in purple that says, why could I play the Forest Paths card? And then it explains all of the kind of the rules behind it. And then we even have like sections at the end that say like, hey, why is my character behaving this way? What am I hoping to accomplish with this action? So we're really trying to like hold players' hands through their first turn to give them a sense of how the game works. And then by the end of that first turn, they're going to have a pretty good knowledge of all the key systems. So we got the walkthrough for the red and then for blue. This lovely illustration work. So obviously Kyle did the illustration and then Patty laid them out for the rulebook and did such a good job. I cannot praise her enough for her work on this. Then you get to the end of the playbook and you have a few more rules. So like after your first turn, it's like, hey, read through these rules. This is the other stuff that we kind of couldn't fit in the walkthrough. And then we go through some general points about if you have rules questions, here's where you probably need to go for your answers. And then it talks a little bit about how your first game will end. Then, and I love this part, we have a section on setting up for later games. And this is the Josh, our editor's genius. He decided to include this really cool 2-page spread of group agreements, which is like, hey, are you going to be the type of group that not allow people to take back? That's fine. Just make sure you are in agreement with it. Or do you want to track all hidden information? Well, you can do that. And so it just kind of talks about like what our preferences are as a studio, but also provides some wiggle room for people to adapt the game to their own play styles. And then the last page of the rulebook, the Weird Things About Oath page. I love this page because Oath is a simple game, but it doesn't really borrow systems from other games. And so when you learn it, it's one of those games that is probably as hard for someone new to board gaming to learn as someone who's played a lot of board games. And what I mean by that is because it doesn't borrow a lot of systems, like you don't really have hands in this game in the sense that you have a hand of cards. So this Weird Things About Oath page is for people who are kind of scratching their head after that first turn of walkthrough and they're like, I don't know if I fully understand something. They can look at this page and get a pretty good read on like, oh, I am understanding this rule correctly. One thing that I'll say also about this rule book is normally when I'm working on like page counts and we're designing a game, we are really we're really thrifty, Scroogey, I don't know the right word, about play counts. Oh, there's Patrick. We're really like concerned with keeping the amount of paper in the game low because we just want to save costs wherever we can. But with this playbook, if we needed another 4 pages or 8 pages, we just added them. And then all that padding led to lots of illustrations, room to do things like this weird things about Oath. It was really fun to work on. Okay, cool. So, yep, that's the playbook. One thing I'll say, just echoing some comments in chat, is that we tried really hard to learn our lessons with each game. So we actually haven't had time to do our debrief on Oath yet. We'll be doing that over the course of the fall. And we really try, like, we talk so much about our projects, the parts that work really well and the parts that don't really work well. And we really try to work on our method as much as we can. Will we ever see that battle game based on the OG mechanics of this game? Probably. I love that battle game, and I kind of want to do something with it. Okay, so here we go. You've got some little pieces for the bot. You just put these in a little bag. I'm just gonna I'm gonna be responsible and unpack this in a reasonable way, so that I don't regret this in like 5 minutes. Okay, so we got that. Then, of course, so first of all, I want you to note this box is quite full, like quite full. Like it's heavy, and it's like got maybe a centimeter of clearance. It will be full enough that you should be able to store it on like 3 of its sides. So you can store it like, like that. You can store it like that. You probably don't want to crush the mat, although the mat's tough. So, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so the box is pretty full, and it is filled with these wooden pieces. Reminder again that like the warband pieces in the game are about this a little bit bigger than a root warband, and then the pawns are both taller and thicker. And I love one thing about the pawns. I've mentioned this a couple times. I wanted these pawns to be really, really big. Well, Kyle and I wanted them to be really big because one, it's a very important game piece. All your actions are based around your pawn, so it should feel central. And it allowed us to do a kind of like abstract look for the pawn that really I think works with the milieu of the game. And then also I was thinking about old German Euro games, like if you've played what is that game called with the men who I can't remember the name. I can't believe it. It's the game where with all the spies and you don't know whose spy is whose. It's not Conspiracy though, but with the big wooden pieces. It's awesome. Anyway, I always think about like early 90s German games as having like giant wooden pieces, like the King and El Grande. And so I wanted a game with giant wooden pieces. Okay, so we've got a bunch of wood. So here's all 6 players. Two. Now, the Chancellor has more warbands than anyone else, and we're going to set him aside because we need him for setup. Okay, so now we have the little resin clearing markers, and these are not resin clearing markers, resin secrets. We've already talked about these. I won't talk about them that much, and we've got some coins. We don't have a full set of coins yet. We'll be getting those soon. Okay, so then we get the wood off the board, and we have a deck of relics, which I will set aside because we'll need those for setup. We have these, which we'll need for setup. These are the extra lands. We will not need these for setup. I just want you to enjoy how large these land cards are. They're awesome. So we will be using these later. We won't be using these. These are only used when we rebuild the world at the end of the game. Okay. I put all these setup cards in a little packet, but here I'll show them to you so you can kind of see. So when you get the game, you'll have a little set of cards that will look like this. They'll say, whoops, that's upside down. They'll say packet A. And then what you do is you're like, hey, flip this over this card and start setting up. And you flip it over, and it tells you how to start setting up. And then it will have some cards that you have to put out. And then it says, hey, are you ready for the next card? Here's where you're going to put the pawns. And it explains. And what I like about this is we tell people, hey, put the pawns on the map. And then we say, your pawn is really important for this game, and you should pay attention to it. And so there's this italics text that's like kind of walking you through it, as if you were being taught by somebody who had played the game a bunch. I'm really proud of the team's work, Josh in particular, on building this card-driven walkthrough. I think you guys are going to love it. Everyone's going to love it. Cool. All right, so then for setup, critically, we need our world box. This is very important. We have already played the game a little bit, and so we have a world in this box, which I will be setting up for y'all. So it stays closed for now. This is the Imperial Reliquary. The Chancellor gets this, so we'll need that for setup. This tray, which will not be quite this size and will be made of plastic, we just haven't gotten ours yet, contains a lot of the pieces of the game. So we got some dice in here and some other stuff. People can use it in different ways. And I'll go ahead and just... I wonder if I'm going to regret that later. I think Nick made these trays. We make like kind of high fidelity cardboard approximations. Okay, now we have all these cards right here. And the only thing that we need here, so this is actually, I'm really pumped to show you this stuff. So first of all though, before we do that, we need player boards for the people who are playing. So I'm going to set up a game and imagine that we're playing with like red, here's red, and then maybe yellow was a citizen, ended the game as a citizen last game. So the how you stack these boards will remember who is citizens and who is not. And maybe we'll do a 3-player game. So like yellow, red, and the Chancellor. Okay, so this other stuff we just put back in the box. So we got these player boards. I'm gonna go ahead and set them out where the players will be sitting in my imagined game. I'm gonna do this like just off camera because my view area is a little bit narrower than what a normal game surface would be. One thing that I tried to pay really close attention to when we were thinking about Oath in the early stages was I remember measuring, I think it was at PAX. Was it a PAX? I'm not sure which one. Maybe Unplugged. And I remember measuring a convention table, those kind of thin wooden convention tables, and thinking, I want this game to fit on a convention table. It should fit comfortably on a convention table. Sometimes with these big games, like you have to put 2 convention tables together to like play Twilight Imperium. I love Twilight Imperium, but putting 2 convention tables together is horrible because then you like can't reach the middle of play. And so I really wanted like everybody should be able to reach the different areas of the game. And one thing, like in many of the examples, we have people sit at the ends of the table just because it lays out the pages, the table better. You can sit across from each other when you play this game. That's fine. Okay, cool. Now the other thing I want to show you guys is, someone asked about the reliquary. Why is the reliquary not part of the Chancellor's board? So you can see, for instance, it's like, look at that. The reason why the reliquary is not part of the Chancellor board is again about table space configurations. You can go like this. Also, the reliquary has a back. It wasn't on these files, but it has a back that you use when you play the bot, so it needs to stay separate. And actually, the back of the Chancellor has all the information you need for the bot. So when you have a player play Chancellor, when the bot is in exile, they have everything they need on the reliquary, and they just take it to their play area. Okay, so Chancellor's board goes there. We'll put the reliquary here. Now, other thing I want you guys to note is look at all these beautiful cards. This big black thing that you're looking at on the left of the box is where all the cards are sitting, and I can show you. So this, again, this will be an insert, a nice plastic insert. This is just provisional. But you can see here's the card brick. This is some of the suits. And we have these awesome dividers that you use. Here, I'll show you one. So like all of the Discord cards are sitting in this like packet, right? I guess I'll go like that. Let's see if that autofocuses. Yeah, you can kind of see. So this full set of Discord cards is hanging out there. And we weren't prescriptive about this. There are lots of different ways you can use the dividers, but this is kind of how I do it. And so you have dividers for every suit, and then we also have a divider for the dispossessed. These are the cards that have been exiled out of the game. There they are, dispossessed. And you can see when sleeved, the cards pretty cleanly fit up this area. We'll have a divider in this area too, so if you're not sleeving your cards, the cards should be able to brick up in just one side of it. Now, in order to play this game, we need to get out the world deck. So here's our world deck, which I will set aside. We'll need that in just a second. And okay, so now the last thing we need is the mat. Now, I'm going to now take this box and put it on the ground. Whoa, my reveal. Okay, so why am I going so slow in all the setup stuff? That's what I want to ask myself, because I plan on leaving work today early, and here I am here late. So here's what I want to do. One of my pitches with Oath is that the game should be fast to set up, right? Like, it's a heavier game. It's complicated. There's lots of interesting things. The world is like huge and beautiful and has lots of cool stuff in it. And I made a kind of a bet. I'm making like it's a bet with people everywhere, right? Which is we think that you will play the game more if it's faster to set up. And so a lot of the games that are in this weight class, they take a long time to set up. So we want Oath to be really fast to set up. So I'm going to set it up right now, and we're going to go from like nothing. I've done no setup work right here. I'm going to go from no setup work to the game like ready to play. And I don't know how long this is going to take. So it's like about 5 o'clock here. So someone can put a stopwatch on me, and we'll just see how it goes. And normally all the stuff will be in the box, but the box is engineered so that you basically just pull out what you need to set up. I'll just say one more thing about setup generally. I love heavy, long games, but setup is like the #1 killer. And I think actually one reason why I love 18xx games so much is they have like the easiest setup in the world. You just like dump the tiles out, you put them in some piles, you're ready to go. As long as you've counted your poker chips. All right, so here we go. We are at 30 minutes and 22 seconds, and I'm going to start at 30:30. Okay, first thing you do is you unfurl the map. Shoop, there's the map. Looking very handsome. Next thing you do is you put the world deck, which you've already built into the previous game, right there. Then you get the relics out. The relic deck, you take the Grand Scepter, you give that Grand Scepter to the Chancellor. The 4 relics on top of the reliquary go like that. And then the rest of the relic deck goes here. Then we need to build the world. How do you build the world? Well, we get our fancy little world box. You take the world box, you take everything out carefully. Okay. Then when you have everything out, what you're going to do is you're going to take this token. And you just can put this over here. This is telling me what victory condition we're playing under. So we're playing Oath of Protection. And then I begin to build the world. Whoops. We went like this, didn't we? Oh, you know what I did? Ha! Okay. I went upside down. Okay, so we go like this. So the Plains starts here and has this card and this card. And the Lush Coast starts here. And there's this card. Whoops, the relic slipped out of the mountain. And then we have the mountain has, one second, where's this guy? I'll get that in a second. I'm messing up a little bit. Okay, so the mountains, we go here. We have these 2 cards in the mountain. And then we have the Buried Giant here. Buried Giant has these 2 cards associated with it. Ah, the Buried Giant lost its relic. That's what happened. Rocky Coast is here. Nope, this is the rock. Oh, no, we're good. Hidden Place. Boop, boop. And then these 2 right there. Boom, the map's set up. Now we have to put our little trackers and fill the banks. So the way we fill the banks is each bank gets 3. If we were playing with 5 or 6 players, each bank would get 4. So I'm going to go ahead and set the banks right now. I don't think we've really shown these cool punch board pieces. I love them. I mean, like, the coins are awesome. Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. Cool. There we go. So we've got all those right there. That looks good. And then we need to put the cool turn tracker right there. We need to put the cool vision marker, which is somewhere in this box, I swear. It might be sitting on the table. Anyway, we have oh, there it is. Vision marker goes right here. Doop. And then we have to deal people their starting hands. So 3 cards from the bottom of the deck are dealt to every player position. So I'm going to deal those out right now. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we put 1 card from the bottom of the deck on every discard pile. Like that. And lastly, we have to put out the Chancellor's warbands, right? The Chancellors, they rule everything. So you need to show they rule everything. And you always put 2 in the top region. That's like the capital. And then every single face-up site that has a card on it, a denizen card like this, gets a warband. So here's the Chancellor's Empire from the last game. And then the Chancellor's piece starts right here. And that's set up. And it took you a couple minutes or so. I was kind of flummoxed a little bit when those cards slipped out of my hand. And then, like there are a couple of things I'm not doing, like players all start with a buck and a secret and things like that. But yeah, you can generally set up this game. Like our promise to y'all is that like you can set up the game in under 5 minutes. With a little bit of practice, I can usually set it up in like a minute. And this is again, like this is a big game with lots of fun, strange stuff in it, and you just kind of like lay it out and it lays itself out. By the way, sorry about the glare on the cards. I I should have unsleeved this before I streamed. I wonder how it will look if I just We'll see. I'll unsleeve the Elder's card, and you can judge. Like this one's like you don't even know what card this is probably. There you go. You can get a better sense of how it looks. But yeah, there it is. That's it. The game's ready to go. And then like if I'm playing the Chancellor, the last little part of setup, which is really the first part of the game, is I get to pick one of these 3 cards that I want to keep: the Tinker's Fair, the Acting Troupe, or the Magician's Code. In this instance, for most relics and banners, I'd probably take the Acting Troupe, which lets you. It allows you to pretend as if this card's a triple suited card. When you're earning money, you get to pretend to be a beast or an order. It's a great card. All 3 of these are really good too. I was just reading like a session report on the Woodland Warriors Discord about someone who has a lot of like crazy cards going on in their game. And I love hearing that stuff. Yeah, you got. I mean, Acting Troupe is like a really good first draft. One thing that I'm so pumped for everybody to get this and for me to start reading some of the game session reports. I read an interesting report from a game where they talked about how they were using the Tinker's Fair to trade relics, and people were essentially like renting powerful items from each other, and I love it. I love it that kind of thing can happen. Sweet. So yeah, I mean, this was again. Nick asked me if he should come in with like a stopwatch, and I should be like really pumped and ready to go. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna like try to do this for the first time. So I'm happy it was under 5 for everybody. Yeah. So again, like we're waiting on a couple things. We're waiting for our set of dice, but we should have a production copy of this game within a couple months, and then we'll do like a big unboxing kind of show. I'll show all the stuff here. I'll go ahead and let me see which lands. You guys should see these land cards. It's so funny, like the bigger the component, the more impressed I am when I see the thing in production. Like these land cards are awesome. They are so large and it's the best. So I'm very like delighted by like how the pieces sit on them and things like that. I think they look great. I guess I'll do the heavy cardboard thing and knock them all on their side. Yeah, and so we like tried with all the piece design in the game, we tried to really think about like, how is this piece used? If it's picked up in this way, is it slid? And try to like lean into all those things. We also, we designed the board layout so that it is sleeve friendly. So you'll note that everything fits just fine with sleeves. It's a little tight, but it's fine, more or less. And then if you don't have sleeves, you'll have just a little bit of extra room. So we really tried to make it like, we know some gamers love to sleeve their stuff, and we got you. But also, if you don't sleeve your game, it won't feel like anything's missing. If you didn't order the game and you really want these cool sleeves, you can still get them. If your backer kit is locked, just email support or drop a message on the Kickstarter comments or something, and we'll get to it. Cool. All right, I'm going to take a second to look at the comments and let me know here. I even got a little mouse here, so this doubles as an excellent mouse pad. Excellent. Look at that. Okay, cool. I'm just trying to make sure. Yep, looks like I got all the comments. Yeah. So you know what? There's one thing I didn't forget. I forgot to set up. I'm sure I'm going to get notes about all the little things I forgot to set up. One last thing you do is like these special relics. You have them out. So there are a couple super small little things that I didn't do in setup, but like generally this game is like a minute from being ready to play. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. I am so grateful that you're here. I'm going to close the stream by, you know what I should do actually? This is the right way to close the stream. So I'm going to just like quickly show you how the game packs up. And so I'm just going to read through this very, very, very quickly and then just have a very quick pack up. So the first thing you would do if you were finishing a game is pick the winner gets to pick the new victory condition. That's vowing an oath. Then there's some citizenship stuff that happens, not a big deal. Then you clean up the map. So basically all the stuff gets cleaned up. Any spot that the winner didn't rule gets axed. And so the stuff that remains is going to be the ruler's lands. Now the ruler gets to build an edifice. Those are like cool monuments and things like that. And then after that, the board will shift down to fill any gaps. And once the board is all ready to go, we get to add new cards from the archive. So that's where, if I had like like a bunch of discard cards on my advisors, I could add more discard cards into the deck, and we randomly remove some cards there. And then when we clean up the board, the way it works is you just, here, I'll sleeve them while I'm doing it. Yeah, put it away, speed run. That putting away takes a little bit longer because there are some decisions you have to make about the game. But this is another place where, you know, once you've run through it a couple times, all the decisions are logical, and even some of them can even happen like a little out of order, and it's fine, doesn't break anything. So the way it works is first step is everybody comes and sits on their cards like this. And I'm going to be putting this away because I think we're going to be playing this game maybe tomorrow or when we get back from our break. So you get it all like this, and then you fill it up. And so what you do is you just stack it all like that. This is an abridged pack up. There's a couple little parts I'm missing. And then once you have it all packed up, you just stick it in your world box. And then the victory condition that was chosen to be the new victory condition, you just stick that right in the world box too. And now, you know, it can get knocked around or all that stuff, doesn't matter. It won't. Because the land cards are about the size of this box, so they act like walls where they keep everything together. Yeah, I actually kind of like love packing up this game. It's great. I think it does a lot of like cool storytelling work, just even in the pack up. Yeah, that's everything. Again, I am so thankful for y'all's support. This game, you know, we spent some time today thinking about our schedule for next year and the year after maybe, and just sort of thinking about what we're going to work on. And I was sort of filled with gratitude at how y'all have trusted us and allowed us to spend a year building what is certainly the craziest project I've ever worked on, and I'm tremendously proud of everyone's work on it. They did a great job. Okay, cool. So if you just missed the stream, when I stop streaming, it will pop up, and then you can watch it, and maybe we'll put it on YouTube. I don't know. The thing is, we're going to do a better stream anyway, and this was just me mucking around, taping some cameras to walls, and hoping it was going to work. So I'm glad it did. All right, well, everyone have a wonderful Friday. Tomorrow, yes. Enjoy the end of your week and a good weekend and all that stuff. And and finally, just a reminder, 2 reminders. 1, the patented Leader Games reminder. If you have any questions, please contact support@leadergames.com. And lastly, a reminder that everybody on Leader Games staff will be on a kind of small sabbatical next week, taking a bit of a breather. So please, don't bother us that much and have a lovely time. Give yourself a little breather if you can. And we look forward to sharing stuff with you the week following. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.